on your back. Always a good start for the day, I think. Plant your feet really firmly on the floor. And just take a moment to draw the shoulder blades underneath the rib cage so they feel nice and flat against the floor. And notice as you take your next breath, how that opens a bit more space for the breath as the front of your shoulders just opens, the collarbones broaden. So resting your arms comfortably at the side. See, as you let your body get heavy, if you can trace the length of the spine, so feel where the back of the pelvis is heavy into the floor. And feel also where the back of the skull is heavy into the floor. And just follow the line from where the skull meets the very top of the neck, all the way down, like a thread of energy. See if you can feel the spine, middle of your back, and the center of the bottom of your rib cage, through the lumbar spine, meeting that flat bone of your sacrum, and even imagine it curling into the tailbone. So as you take your next inhale, follow that back up from the tailbone, sacrum, breathing in that thread of energy, following the spine right to the back of the skull. With your exhale again, follow it down from the skull to the tailbone. Letting the body settle as you really tune into the center, to your center. I think this time following Christmas and the New Year, especially with weather as it has been, it's very scattering. We can have our energy scattered into the four winds. So yoga just gives us that opportunity to draw back in awareness and presence with our very center. So breathing as you imagine that line of energy of your spine from the tailbone, follow it up and see if you can imagine it as a shining light flowing like a river of energy. Tailbone even to the crown of your head. So follow it even up to the crown of your head, and then from the crown, as you exhale, through the center of your body to the tailbone. And just take a couple more breaths, just following, really drawing your attention in to the Sushumna Nadi, that's the central channel of energy in yoga. Sushumna, I think, means flowing river. So see if you can imagine it as a flowing river of energy, of light, suffusing the body. And then we'll just start to bring some movement into the spine. So as you inhale next time, allow the pelvis to tilt forward. So that's where the hip bones fall towards the thighs, and you get a bigger gap between your lumbar spine and the mat. And then as you exhale, use the turn of your lower belly, so drawing up from the pubic bone to the navel, and you diminish that lumbar curve. You may even flatten the lumbar curve into the floor. So as you inhale, again, imagining that central channel of energy, the Sushumna Nadi, your spine, allow the pelvis to drop forwards, your exhale, just toning the belly muscles and tilting it forward. So there's no movement particularly, no effort in the upper back or the rib cage. You're really trying to focus the movement on this lumbar spine, the lower back. And take a couple more breaths like that. And tilting forwards, exhaling back. And next time you inhale, tilting the pelvis forward, sweep the arms overhead, reach back through the fingertips, palms facing. Lovely, and it might even trigger a little yawn, a little stretch through the side body, so let the hips roll one side to the other. And a little bit of movement, a little stretch. And then draw yourself back into the center, shoulder blades settle. And with your exhale, keep the pelvis in neutral this time, bring the arms down. So take another breath in, sweeping the arms back, keeping the pelvis in neutral this time. And as you exhale, this time pick up the right foot from the floor and hug the knee in. Exhaling fully. We're going to straighten that right leg with the inhale. Reach back through the fingertips. Stretch the heel away. So maybe the right sit bone draws down towards the heel a little bit more. And then as you exhale, hug the knee in. Do 2 more on that side. Lengthen through the right side of the body. So your right hip might drop down. As you lengthen, feel a stretch in the side or maybe even the belly. And then hug in. Last one this side. Inhale. Lengthen away, reach back. And exhale, hug in. And just as you hug this knee in, straighten the left leg along the mat. Heel to the floor. And again, see if you can make that leg a little bit longer. Great. Take your right knee in your left hand, release the right arm to the floor, and just gently bring yourself in a twist. So really what you're doing is drawing the right knee towards the left elbow, maybe the left shoulder. You're not trying to get the knee on the floor. And then if your neck feels fine to do so, then just turn the gaze to the right and take a couple of breaths in your twists. And then roll back onto the back. Bring both knees in and bring your right foot to the floor, hugging the left knee in. As you inhale, straighten the left leg as you reach the arms back. Lengthen that leg out of the pelvis and then exhale. Hug it in. Good. And use that sense of hugging in to tone the belly and squeeze the breath out. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, really squeeze the tummy muscles as you hug the knee in and breathe all the way out. So the body decides when it needs to inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hug in. And just do 2 more like that. Move at your own pace. Finding some space, keeping that awareness of your spine. So if it suddenly feels, oh, that feels good to stretch or turn or twist or reach, then go ahead and do that. Last one here. Straighten that leg along the floor. Exhale to hug the knee in and keep it there. And that knee can be out to the side a little bit, more in line with the armpit than the chest, and start to straighten the right leg along the mat. Press the heel into the floor so the thigh firms. You lengthen that away. And then take your right hand to the left knee, release your left arm, and just take that into the twist. Find where it feels like a good stretch, maybe reaching into the lumbar spine, maybe the hip, the buttock area. And if it feels good to do so, turn the gaze to the left and take a couple of breaths. And then release to the back, bring the knees back in. Great. And we'll just bring the left foot to the floor, cross the right knee all the way over, and just squeeze the shins together a little bit. And then whenever we're working with the spine and the back and we're thinking about toning and finding space, we also need to switch our core on a little bit, we'd be glad to know. So lift your left foot off the floor. So you've got your knees together if you can. If you can reach the knees to touch each other, so you've crossed all the way over. Take your hands, one on top of the other, and press them into your right thigh. So don't let your shoulders lift away from the floor. And what you're going to do is try to feel that you're lifting the sacrum a tiny bit off the floor, squeezing the tummy in. So you're just rounding this lower part of your spine, lifting the tailbone, the sacrum off the floor, and push your thigh into your hand into your thigh, toning the lower belly. So you should feel your core wake up a little bit here. Take a couple of deeper breaths, and now we maybe need Ujjayi breath, that stronger, more powerful breath in through the nose, out through the nose if you can. And hold it for another breath, really turn the tummy, might get a bit shaky. left. And then release the feet to the floor, take the feet wide. So you've got a bit more space at your hip flexors. And just let the knees windscreen wiper. Left to right, just a little, release some of that tension. And joy of joys, we take it the other way. So cross the other leg over. Is it left over right this time? So crossing all the way so that knees are together, lift the right foot off the floor. And then just feel, can you get a sense of lifting the sacrum off the floor? So you need to really squeeze from the pubic bone towards the navel. So your lower abdominal muscles, the lower part of your abdomen. And then push the hands into your left thigh. And just have a bit of resistance here. You might feel a bit warmer now. So a deeper, stronger breath, and really focus on your low belly. Drawing the tailbone up, lifting the sacrum a tiny bit. Squeeze another breath here. And then uncross the legs. And again, just come into your windscreen wiper twist. Release some tension through the low back and the hips. And breathe into the belly. And then let's turn onto our side and come up onto hands and knees. And if you're on a hard floor, just have a little padding for the knee. That's always a good idea. So bring your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And make a little bit of space. So if your shoulders and your wrists come a little bit further forward, can you feel that the hip flexor is a tiny little bit more open? You're not back here with the hips behind the knees. So then that gives us a little bit more space to take an inhale and lengthen. So rather than feeling like we're dropping the belly to the floor, I want you to feel that you're lengthening the spine. So shoulders draw away from the back of the skull. And you feel as if the crown of the head moves forwards and the tailbone moves backwards. And yes, there is a little bit of an arch in the back. So here is an inhale. As you exhale, start to push into the floor, draw the belly up. So you've woken the belly up already, so you can really tone those muscles. And then press into the hands and take the heels back, the sit bones back towards the heels. Good. So as we inhale, shoulders draw into the back of the heart center, we lengthen as you come into cow pose. As you exhale, push into the floor, tone the belly, and come through cat to child's pose. So we keep flowing there. So there's a wave of movement as you inhale and lengthen your back into extension. Feel the spine as you push into the floor, tuck the tummy, and sit back. So see if you can feel a real wave of movement. Into cow with the inhale, through cat to child with the exhale. And as you tune into that movement of your spine all the way from the tail to the crown, can you really also feel the tummy muscles working here, coming back on the exhale and lengthening. Keep a little bit of tone on your inhale as you come up into cow. Let's keep going. And if you find that actually you're a little bit stiff on one side, you might add a little bit more movement between the shoulders and the hips. So you can freestyle it a little bit, going between or through these three postures. So your cow pose, Uttanasana, your cat pose, Trikonasana, child's pose. So just really tune into your own body, your spine, and see what it needs this morning. Get some movement, free up the energy, because the weather is so revolting at the moment. We're doing lots of sitting, a lot of stasis. Let's see if we can free the spine. Lovely. And let's just do one more, wherever you are, coming into your inhale, pushing into the floor, toning the tummy back, and sit back into child. And here, as we take a couple of breaths into child, you might want to widen the knees, big toes together. And can you press the hands into the floor? So you feel some tone come into the tricep, around the top of the shoulders, maybe the all the way to the base of the shoulders. So you're pushing the floor down, you just let the head relax. The head may not be on the floor if you're pushing down. And then feel as if you were going to draw the mat towards your knees. So you're not moving your hands, but you've got this feeling of drawing back, pushing down, drawing back. Feel the muscles that support the spine and the shoulder girdle start to work a little bit. So we're active in the upper body as we stretch the spine. Now breathe into the back of the waist. Feel it expand with your inhale. And as you draw the belly back with your exhale, maybe you can bow a little bit deeper. Keep the tone in the upper body. So with your next inhale, come up, reach the hands forwards, keeping the hips above the knees, and you can bring the knees underneath the hips a little bit more. Thread your left arm underneath, palm to the ceiling, and you can bend this right elbow. So if you bend the right elbow, bring the right thumb kind of in front of your eyebrows. And as you push the right hand into the floor, can you wrap your right shoulder around towards your spine, draw it away from the ear. So then we can get a stronger twist. Can you breathe into the upper back? Breathe into the twist. Don't let the hips squiggle. It's a technical yoga term. So keep both sit bones reaching towards the heels, so the pelvis is square. Let's take one more breath. Good. Press firmly into the right hand, come back up, reach both hands forwards. So we come into puppy pose just here for a moment. And again, I want you to keep that sense of pressing the hands down. So there's tone, and the shoulders broaden, and the neck is long. Take a breath here, lifting the sit bones. And then see, can you take your attention to the upper back, that part of your spine that can get super locked if you're at a computer a lot. And then melt the chest towards the floor. Keep pushing the hands gently into the floor. If you feel pinchy in the shoulder, take your hand wider. Deep breath. And then firm the arms towards each other. Push into the hands. And we're going to take the twist to the other side. So thread the right arm under, palm up. Bring the right shoulder, the head to the floor. And bend the left elbow, so the thumb is in line with the eye or the eyebrow. And then as you push your left hand into the floor, wrap your left shoulder around towards the spine, draw it down away from the ear, and feel a deeper twist in the upper back. When you take a breath into that feeling of compression, that lovely twistiness, take a breath. And then when you're ready, push firmly into the left hand. Bring the hands back underneath your shoulders. And just make sure that the knees are a little bit further back than your hips. Tuck the toes, turn the tummy, draw the shoulders away from the ears. And as you lift your knees a tiny little bit, really hug the belly in towards the spine, your torso toned, and then we start to reach the hips towards the ceiling. Keep it nice and slow, knees bent here. As you press the chest towards the thighs a little bit more, take the gaze to the toes, release the neck, so the shoulders draw away from the floor, so your neck can feel really loose, head heavy. And then start to draw the tummy muscles back, firm the arms, downward facing dog, Ardha Chandrasana. And let's take 2 breaths. Firm the hands. Can you feel the inner edges of your hands, your fingertips pressing into the floor, rooting down? And take another breath. And here, can you find your spine again? So from the crown of the head, can you breathe down that Sushumna Nadi, that central river of energy to the tailbone? Real awareness to the center of your body. On your next inhale, lift the left foot off the floor, bend the knee. And see, can you draw a big circle with that knee? You might feel a few clunks and clicks. That's fine. There shouldn't be too much pain here or anything. Circling and feeling that hip mobilized. Try to keep the rest of the body pretty still. So your left leg is strong and straight. One more circle. Try one circle the other way. And then straighten that leg behind you. Hug it into the middle, toes pointing to the floor, 3-legged dog. It actually translates as 1-legged dog, sounds good. And then bring that foot to the floor. Nice. Drop to the knees for a break. If you need to, otherwise, inhale, lift the left foot super high, bend the knee. And draw a circle, so whichever direction feels the most natural for you, it doesn't matter too much. Try to keep everything else firm and strong, so your arms are still strong, Great. If it's too much, you drop that right knee and you do it with one knee on the floor. Mobilize the hip. And then try one circle the other way as big as you can. And then straighten that left leg out behind you. Hug the legs together, tone the tummy. And then bring left foot next to right. Good. So we're going to walk the hands back towards the feet. If your knees are happy, then bend the knees and sit back towards your heels. Heels lift off the floor. And bow in Malasana, garland pose. If your knees are not happy bending so deeply, come into forward fold with knees soft. So maybe just come into this one. Don't worry about Malasana. And let the head drop. Take a breath into the back once more. So can you breathe into the back of the waist? Can you feel as if you're making space for the spine? And again, you might feel as you really focus there that you want to stretch to one side, lifting one shoulder, maybe the other side. And then start to ground the feet. So take the feet hip width apart if they're not already. And lining up the heels with the toes. Soften the knees and let the body hang. So hold on to the elbows. Knees are really deeply bent here, so we're not pulling on the sacrum. Lovely. Let the spine lengthen. Can you feel gravity just giving you a little bit of traction here? So let go of any tension in the neck and the jaw and see if you can allow the body to hang. So deeply bent knees will take some of that pressure out. You're not yanking on the hamstrings. So then we're going to start to get ready to straighten into Ardha Uttanasana, so that's half forward fold. So as we do that, release the hands, take the hands to the shins, and then start to tone the belly. So the first thing we want to do is to draw the tummy muscles up, tone the belly, that gives the spine support, and then maybe we straighten the legs and come into halfway. Exhale and fold again, so soften the knees and let the head release. Inhale, firm the legs, tone the belly, lengthen forwards, gaze down to the mat. Good, let's drop down one more time as you exhale. And inhale, lengthen, really draw the tummy muscles up, grounding into the feet. Nice. And then soften the knees, start to lift the chest, sweep the arms, and reach up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Well done. I'm going to leave my mat there because we are going to come to kneel. You chopped my head off. Come to the front of your mat. And just lift your toes and give them a bit of a wiggle. So you feel the arches lift and wake up a little bit. Feet hip width apart. See if you can stand with them parallel. If that feels uncomfortable on the knees, then don't do that. And then can you start to lengthen the tailbone? Feel how as you draw the tummy out and lengthen the tailbone, we ground through the outer edges. Now find your big toe joint. Can you ground your big toe joint as well? So you feel super grounded through the feet, open through the collarbones. Standing tall. Now can you close your eyes and feel the spine again? Can you breathe from the tailbone to the crown and see if you can imagine the light flowing down the spine. And then inhale through all of that energy down to the floor. And exhale, you can soften the knees into Uttanasana here. Inhale, firm the legs, turn the belly, lengthen, look forwards. As you exhale, take the left foot back, drop the left knee to the floor. Lovely. And if you happen to have a couple of bricks handy, then you can use bricks, otherwise your fingertips on the floor, that's absolutely fine. So what we're going to do is just again to mobilize and open up the hips. As you inhale, lunge forwards, lift the heart. As you exhale, you just roll onto the front heel. Now this leg doesn't need to be too straight, you're just feeling a hamstring stretch. Inhale, lengthen forwards, open up, squeeze the shoulders into the back of the heart. Exhale and fold. So you might be on bricks, gives you a bit more space. Inhale, but it doesn't matter. And exhale. Okay, let's do two more. Inhale, feel the body opening up. So we have an extension in the spine here and a flexion here. Awareness in the center of your body. Lovely. Come back up into your lunge. If you've got bricks, take them to the side. You can bring your hands to the floor. And as you lift your back, that's called a knee. Can you squeeze your right knee up to your belly? Nice. Push into the hands, keep the knee squeezing in, take the nose back towards the knee, and then slowly with control, reach that right leg up to the ceiling. One-legged dog, good. Look to your thumbs, you're going to step that right foot back. Hug it in as you come, so super slow, bit of core. Take the weight forward, squeeze the knee up, and then step it forwards, drop the left knee down. Again, well done. Sweep the arms up this time. So here again, can you take awareness to the spine? So often as we lift the heart, we overextend a little bit here in the lumbar spine. So can you tone the belly and lengthen from your kidneys, the lower ribs, all the way, the flesh of the buttocks lengthening, shoulders draw away from the ears. Nice, take a deep breath here. And then take hold of the left wrist. Keep that sense of squeezing the hips in, the legs towards each other to give you some stability as you hinge to the right. And breathe into the left side, so the left side of your body. We still want to feel quite long in the right side, so you're lifting up out of the pelvis. And then like a rainbow. Oh dear. I can imagine this being rainbows. Lengthen the tailbone. Take another breath into the left. And then separate the arms, look up, so tone through the tummy. And then exhale, bring your hands to the floor, lift the back knee. That's it. And then sweep that right leg up to the ceiling once more. Hug it into the center. And feel as if you're in a straight line from the hands to the heel. And then bring right foot next to left. Look forwards to your hands, step forwards, inhale into half forward fold, hands wherever you need to, knees, shins, thighs. Exhale, soften, you can soften the knees. Sit back a little bit, sweep the arms wide, come all the way, grounding into the floor. And exhale, hands to the heart. Let's do that again. Inhale. On the other side. Exhale, fold. Soften the knees. Inhale, firm the legs, turn the belly lengthen. Exhale, step the right foot back, drop the right knee. And either with bricks or with fingers, as you inhale, you're starting to extend the spine. When you feel as if the spine is in a bow shape as you lift the heart with your inhale. Yeah. If you've got bricks, bring them in line with your shoulders, not too wide. And exhale, just sit back. So you don't have to have straight leg here. You should feel a comfortable stretch. If you're a bit more flexible, like I am in the hamstrings, then you can sit back more. Inhale, move with the breath. Shoulders go into the back of the heart as you lift. Exhale, press back. Good. Couple more. Moving with your breath. And feel that connection between the leg and the spine. So as you come into your hamstring stretch, it's a whole line of connected tissue from the heel all the way to the head. Good. One more. Inhale. Exhale, bow. Good. Come forwards into your lunge. Take the bricks out of the way. Hands to the floor. And we're going to lift the back thigh. And then as you take the left foot off the floor, hug that knee up towards your belly, really squeeze for the core engagement, squeeze, 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 you can take it back, and then lengthen it. One-legged dog, straight line, hands to heel. Good, take an in breath, and then as you come forwards again, slowly bring the knee back towards the chest, hug it in, hug it in, hug it in, take it forwards. And then step the left foot forward, drop the right knee down, and sweep the arms up. Lovely. Again, be aware of supporting the spine by drawing the muscles of the torso in. And then from all of that stability, look up, lengthen, take hold of the right wrist. Relax the shoulders a little away from the ears, and then hinge to the left. That's it, yep. And breathe into the right side of your body, but feel as if you're lifting out of the pelvis, so you're not scrunching the left side of your waist. Good, take another breath, find some space. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, hands to the floor, lift the back thigh, and sweep that left foot up to the ceiling once more. Three-legged dog. Good. Can you tone the tummy muscles so you're not arching the back? And then bring left foot next to right. Look to the thumbs, step forwards. Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Sit back a little, soften the knees, sweep the arms wide. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Have your bricks handy if you haven't already. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, step the left foot back into long lunge. So keep the knee lifted for a moment. Great. So now to square the pelvis, take your right thumb and put it in the hip crease. So your thumb just tucks into the hip crease there. And feel as if you're lengthening, you push into the hip crease. Can you feel the outside of your right hip lengthen down? And you feel strong and square in the pelvis. So now as you lunge through the front knee, can you take the knee above the ankle? Good. So you want to feel as if that right thigh is really long and the back of the pelvis is square. Good. Then we can take the right hand to the floor. So we want to keep that right hip drawing back. Grab your bricks. Now, depending on where you are, we're going to come into lizard pose. So there are lots of different versions of this, and we need to look out for knees and hips and strength generally. So we can drop the knee, the left knee down. That's absolutely fine. And then, depending on your anatomy, you may have your bricks quite close to the inside of your right foot, so that when you bow, and I'm not feeling particularly flexible this morning, so I'm going to have my bricks really high. Can you see that? When you bow, you're quite far forwards. Now, that can compress this right knee. So what we may also do is turn the toes out and even wiggle that right foot a little wider to give yourself some more space. If you find that really difficult, you can actually come out into more of a diagonal, a bit further to the left, and that will give you a bit more space in your groins. So you can choose where you are. You want to feel as if you're getting deep into the pelvis and hips. Nice, your bricks. So bring both bricks to the inside of your front foot. Yeah, and then see, and you can have them quite high, yeah. Good, so just make sure that your knee and your ankle and your foot are in line. So you don't want the knee hanging out to the side, but your toes pointing forwards. You want to, yeah, that's a big hit. And just hug in a little. So now feel as if, you remember when we started the class, we put our hands on our thigh and we drew the sacrum off the floor by turning the low belly. Can you do that now? Can you just feel as if you're drawing the very lowest part of the abdominal muscles up a little bit? And then from your pelvis, lengthen the torso forwards. Yeah, and you might find you've loosened up a little bit, and I can lower my bricks. Oops. And take another breath. Start to come up, stay low in the lunge, and if you've got your knee up still, bring it to the floor. Bring your left hand onto a brick, start to point your right toes forwards a little bit, so you're a little bit more in line, and then start to twist, take your right arm up, push into the left arm, opening up the chest. Take a couple breaths. As you exhale, bring your hands down to the floor, bricks to the side, lift your back knee, and then just press back, and again take the right leg high, and bring the right foot next to the left, and just walk out your downward facing dog a little bit. Good, and let the pelvis swing a little bit from side to side, a little twist through the pelvis, just ease out any tension. And then start to bring the body back into your downward facing dog. Super strong, hands strong, tailbone lifted, belly toned, draw the lower ribs in. take a deep breath here. Again, feel the length of your spine. And then inhale, the left leg lifts. And exhale, step the left foot forwards. And just come into your low lunge for a moment. Take the thumb, like we did on the other side, and bring it into the hip crease. And you're almost pushing it back towards the back of your mat. Lunge a little deeper, taking the knee over the ankle. Can you feel that you almost, it really helps to bring the pelvis into line here. And from there, you can lengthen the crown forwards. So see if you can keep that lengthening back at the left hip, and then bring the left hand down. Nice, back thigh strong. And then we'll find our bricks. And come to lizard. So each side will be different. So experiment with where you need the height of the bricks. What we really want is to come in onto the forearms, and you don't have to, you can stay lifted, is to be able to ground evenly through both sides. So if you find that you're able to do it in one but not the other, then bring your hips higher. Good, then check out what's happening with your left knee. We don't want pressure in this left knee, it should feel comfortable. So we might need to take it wider, put the toes out, keep the toes and the knee in alignment. And then you can drop that back knee down, whichever feels good. We don't want this to be about too much strength and effort. We want to allow the body to release. See if you can keep the shoulders away from the ears, and like we did on the other side, can you get in touch with that very lowest part of your abdominal muscles? So bring as if you're drawing the pubic bone towards the navel, and then lengthen the body. Nice. If you feel that you've eased through a little bit already, maybe you can bring the elbows down to the next level. Always feel where you stay well. Take another couple of breaths. Let's start to pump up. Take one brick out of the way, place your right hand on the other brick. Start to align your left toe knee into the hip, so you bring it in a little bit. And then as you twist the torso, start to reach the left arm up and feel as if you're pushing down into your right hand and open up the chest. Breathe into the twist. One more inhale. As you exhale, bring the hands down. Good. And step back to downward facing. You can lift the left leg up and then bring it down. I think we did that on the other side. Good. Walk through the feet just a little. And then come forwards into plank. And lower to your belly. Nice. And bring your left forearm in front of your chest and your right knee. And taking an arc with your right hand. So start with your thumb down, your finger up, palm out, and reach for the inside of that right foot. So the shoulder here is open. If we're here, then we're dropping the front of that shoulder down to the floor. So we want to be here. Good. And reach back. So really hug that right shoulder into the back of the heart. Good. We're just going to do one at a time. If you need to use the other grip or a strap, Suze, go ahead, don't give up. So press both hip bones into the floor. Good. Lengthen the tailbone and push into the left elbow. So you're reaching the heart forwards, the gaze forwards, and gently push the foot into the hand. Use a strap, Sue. Take another breath. And another breath. And then release, windmill that arm back round. And just rest, stack the forearms. Rest the head on the forearms and just have a little rock. Before we take that to the other side. So bring the right forearm underneath, You want your elbow underneath the shoulder so that you can really push down. If this doesn't feel good on your back, don't do it. We can just work here. So don't worry, if you don't want to reach back for the foot, you can just be working here, lengthening the tailbone. Otherwise, we take the arm out, turn the palm out, start to windmill that arm round and feel find the inside of your foot or the ankle. And then turn the chest forwards, ground both hip bones, lengthen the tailbone. Again, you're drawing the tummy muscles up, feeling the spine is protected. Evenly balanced, drawing in through the front body, even as you open the back body. You push the foot gently into the hand. Take another couple of breaths here. And release. And this time press back into child's pose. Take the knees wide, big toes together. And gently take the time, maybe swing a little bit. Find an ease, a way of moving that you can release the low back. And maybe your head comes to the floor. As you push your hands into the floor, if you're pinching the shoulders, widen the hands. But press the floor down. Can you feel that draws the shoulders down? It follows the armpits. And brings a little steadiness to the shoulder girdle. As you push the hips gently towards the heels. And breathe into the back body, into the back of your waist. Even feel the back of the pelvis broaden with your breath. If your knees don't like child, you can have a bolster underneath your hips. Because it's nice to have something to press back into. Take another breath. We're going to come on to our back. So however you'd like to get there, you might cross the ankles or over. However you want to get there, come on your back. Feel the spine down, and just like we did at the beginning of class, bring the feet hip width apart, draw the shoulder blades underneath the rib cage, collarbones open. And rock the pelvis a little bit forwards and backwards. So inhaling to lift, exhaling to posteriorly tilt the pelvis. Just do a couple of those and then let the spine rest in neutral. So there might be a tiny little lift in the lumbar spine, enough for an air vent. Bring the arms to the sides. Great, so let the shoulder blades be flat and at ease. So time for one more twist. Bring the knees and the feet together. You can take the arms out a little wider if you like, palms up or palms down, your choice. And just roll onto the outside of your left foot. So your right foot will lift off the floor. You keep the knees and the feet together. So stack the feet, yeah. So here, it might be more comfortable on the back to bend the knees, bring the knees up towards your left arm a little bit more. And then you might be able to take hold of the right knee with your left hand. Come into a slightly deeper supported twist. Gaze to the right if your neck feels comfortable, if not, nose to the ceiling. Inhale onto the back. Pick the feet, the knees together again and roll the knees to the right, your left foot still stacked on top of the right. And then bring the knees up a little bit more. So that feels comfortable, and your right hand can come and gently press your left knee into the right knee. You might want to shift your shoulders so that the collarbones are open to the ceiling. And then finally take the gaze to the left as long as you feel relaxed in that position, no tension in the neck and the jaw. And come back to the center and just hug the knees in. Take the knees wide in line with the armpits. And rock the spine. And bring the feet to the floor, arms to the sides. And once more, just take a couple of breaths here. And can you imagine that central channel of energy from the tailbone to the crown, like a white light flowing, clear, steadying you, drawing you back into your center. Whenever you're ready, bring your body into Shavasana. So maybe the legs are straight with the feet wide. Or perhaps you grab a bolster for your knees. And just let your body be held, supported by the earth. Letting go of any effort in your breath. And inviting any tension left in your body to melt away. Start to breathe a little more deeply. If you have time, by all means, stay in a longer Shavasana. Otherwise, start to stretch your arms overhead, bring the feet closer. And then hug the knees in. And take your time to roll to your side. Pause for a breath. And come up to seated. And bring your hands together in front of your heart. And with great love and gratitude, namaste.